Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this deep woo-woo episode entitled Simulated Reality with SOLRETA. This is part number 21. Holy shit. You can find SOLRETA here, of course, at SOLRETA Anteria on YouTube and also on her new website at solreta.com. Let's give her a big warm welcome. SOLRETA, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Happy New Year, everyone, and Happy New Year, JC. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, so excited for this new year, even though there's like weird, wonderful things that are happening. I just have, this energy of let's get it done.
Let's get it done indeed. Well, happy New Year to you as well, Sarita. You and I haven't had a chance to do a video in quite some time, and excited to have you back on. I spoke about you in my update video saying that, yes, there's going to be more of Sarita here coming on in 2022. So I'm excited to start the new year on the right foot, I think we say in French, with my best friend here, Sarita, who's been with me since the beginning, and I've lost many channels, and Sarita is still here. So a big thank you to you, your loyalty and your friendship, Sarita. Absolutely love you. And so too do the people in the audience, just judging already by the comments in the screen there.
And I really feel like, this is our soul tribe. And that's why I love being on your channel, that, everyone has journeyed with us from the beginning and they've stuck with us through to the third channel. And I just think you keep getting better and better.
Oh, I think
how many times they knock you down, but like the unbelievable nature of what's happened, getting kicked off Patreon and things that we think are not supposed to happen. You've had all of the tests. So there's definitely something that you're bringing out that's, a little bit.
I've had a few tests. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
And I have to say a big thank you to you, Solreta. You're always there to support me, and a big thank you also to the fans who supported me and at every step of the way had to find me again and rebuild this community with me. And we're at 57 and almost 58,000 strong now, building today. So a big thank you to each and every one of you. Solreta, okay, so we have two topics we want to kind of broach tonight. The first one is the idea of the black goo, and the second one, what was it? I had the second one.
Gematria.
Gematria, right. Yeah. Before we get into that, let's catch up a little bit, because I've got a few emails from clients of mine and viewers of mine who've had readings with you, and man, the testimonials are off the chart. So I want to get into that a little bit here and share with the audience here who might be new.
My clients in there. Hello. I'm just sending you guys lots of love.
So there's quite a few new people since you were on last time. So I want to maybe take this opportunity to recap what you do and why you're so amazing and what people are saying about you as well. But before we get into that, just tell me what's going on here with your life. I noticed there's a new background behind you. Where are you? What's going on in your life? You are creating your new reality. Let us know what's going on.
I really am. Yeah. So I've really been just like fine-tuning everything, and I've had a lot that I've been working on manifesting over the last year that's really come into being. And I was telling one of my clients yesterday, we were working with a little bit of manifestation, and I was saying, you've got to write it down. You've got to get it onto the paper. You've got to break the subconscious programming around, why you can't have certain things. And I was just using this place as a beautiful example. The rent is extremely cheap. You can see I'm in a beautiful setting. I'm on an acre block in the middle of suburbia, surrounded by, gorgeous nature. Just all of these things that would, said to be impossible. I've got chickens and ducks here. I just, I set my top 5 things for what I wanted in a place. And it's always, feelings. You've got to link it with emotion. So it was to feel like I'm at a retreat, to feel like there's a family holding, loving hub type energy to it, to have tranquility, to, for it to feel like a place that's filled with love, and to have nature. And I definitely manifested all of these things. So that's kind of a little bit about the house.
Do you also want to share a little bit about manifesting your relationship, or is that maybe for another topic, another day? What do you feel like?
Well, that was something that, I had 2 pages written. I was specific, and to the point of my partner, when I showed him like what I'd written, he was like, no, I don't believe that. He's like, you just wrote that after you met me. I'm like, you can ask my friends. I said, my friend, something's falling down in the background. So some of my friends are like, I'll vouch for you. You sent that to me like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So just upping the level of manifestation and really, getting into that groove, getting into that feeling of how it happens. So it's a lot of what I'm helping my clients with at the moment too, is really, helping them propel past blocks, really looking into I guess, the quantum reasons of why we're entangled and caught up in our threads of the past or in karmic patterns. So yeah, I'm super excited for working with my clients from 2022 as well, because it is a big year of transformation. Yes, we've been through so much over the last couple of years, but it's brought the muck to the surface, as we say here in Australia. So we can really, kind of sift through that. If there's any residual things that are still coming up, we can really look into why, like on a mental, physical, emotional, psychic level. We can look into the cards, look into what the guides say. So I'm just, I've just
okay. Well, you're going too fast. You're going too fast. Let me break that down a little bit for the audience here. So first of all, folks, if you don't know who SOLRETA is, please do go and check out this website here, solreta.com. And of course, you can also subscribe to her YouTube channel here at SOLRETA and Terria. Let me bring those links down in the live chat now. They are also in the description box below. But for all you new people, if you want to follow along with us, there you go. Those are the links. So Rita, before we talk about the website here, talk about your intention for 2022. A lot of us are in that frequency right now. We just had the new moons. We have a lot of astrological alignment, kind of really focusing us on what it is that we want, what our soul contracts and missions are, and how perhaps we can apply that here moving into 2022. How does that look for you? And what can you tell the audience here as they're trying to find guidance in terms of where they're going?
Yeah, well, I guess there's a couple of levels. I've got, as we all have a couple of layers and dimensions and things to us too. Oh, and I should say there is a code for tonight for 2-hour sessions, whether it's a couple's booking for a 2-hour session or whether it's a normal 2-hour session, there'll be 10% off, which is, I think it works out to about 30 Australian dollars that you save. So yeah, that's valid till the end of January. It does finish January 31st. So I do encourage people to book while there's still some bookings available, because it does fill up quite quick. But yeah, on a personal level, there's so much.
You haven't said what your coupon code is yet.
Oh, it's new you. See, I'm super excited just to share.
Let me bring that up on the screen for the folks. There you go. Discount code new you in one word. Book with SOLRETA at solreta.com. Oh, let me fix that. There's a dot.
The dot missing.
Yeah. All right. Let me fix that. Okay. All right. Keep going, SOLRETA.
Yeah. So I guess on a personal level, there's a lot that I'm really calling forth, like within myself, and a lot of things that I've been working on, I guess, personally, and breaking down like old subconscious belief systems and patterns, and really kind of being that guardian on the threshold when it comes to the subconscious mind, and really sort of taking ownership with certain things and really working with boundaries. In regards to like manifestation for 2022, it goes back to a vision that I had a long time ago, pretty much half my life ago. And I'm really seeing that I'm actually so in alignment with that right now. And other visions that I've had to do with holding this portal or this gateway open between the ET reality and I guess our multidimensional nature of the realm that we live in and the realms outside of our realm. So I really see myself holding that that open and kind of holding that and ushering people through is one way to describe it, because the ETs are there to help us, the most, the positive ones. And it is all about us upgrading. So that's what I'm really helping my clients with, is upgrading not just their personal lives, but upgrading their connection with spirit, helping to fine tune, helping to get the downloads to find out what it is that they can do that really helps them quantum jump and connect on such a deep level. So I just feel that 2022, if we are open to it, is bringing so many gifts, and all of the work that we've done the last year and a half, is going to pay off in this year.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. Okay. So looking at that beautiful sun in the rays there, it just reminded me of one of many testimonials that some of my audience members has sent me. And today, so let me bring that up. Hold on a second. Before I bring that up, I want to make sure I'm not doxing the person here. I've asked this person, hey, is it okay if I share this with the audience tonight? And she said yes. Let me see if I can bring that one back on here. Hold on a second. There you go. Okay. Just want to make sure one last time. There's no personal information, no address, no last name. Okay.
Hey, Jenny. Missed you too.
Very good. Oh, Jenny Alicia?
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Yes, we miss you, Solreta. That's true. I miss you too. Okay, she's here, folks. All right, so this is one of the testimonials here. Do you want to read that out loud, Solreta, and then explain
Yeah,
what's going on in the
let me just
background
see
here?
if I can bring it up a
Absolutely.
little.
Okay.
Hold on a sec. I'll just close some windows, just realized I had open. So this was one of my gorgeous clients that I had the other day, and I was saying to her, there was a past life connection working with Egypt, and I said, you're working with the sun god, and I said, you've worked with the sun in, I guess, like other other times as well. And then all of a sudden, I was talking about that there's codes to receive from this sun frequency and the sun energy. Then all of a sudden, the sun started to come in through her window. And that's what we can see. I think you might need to take the highlight off at JC so we get the color.
I took a snapshot of it from the other page.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
I can't change
You
it
can
now.
see those lines.
Yeah.
And what I was saying was sometimes the sun will send columns of light that come down, and there's hieroglyphs in this. I'm actually just going to see because I've got her aura drawing right here.
Oh, wait. I can probably find. Hold on. Yeah, I can do this. Save image as thumbnail. Okay, wait. I can do this. Hold on.
Okay.
I have it here somewhere. All right, now I'll go to the actual picture here. Hold on. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Look at this. So this starts to appear just as I'm talking about her connection with the sun and that she is receiving codes from the sun. And I'm so grateful that she snapshotted this from the video because how beautiful is this? Look at that green ray. And this was connected to her soul mission. So we've got the soft energy that's connected with this. I'm just having a look if I got her pick. It should be around somewhere. But yeah, I could see hieroglyphs in her aura. So when someone's working with certain energies, sometimes we'll have hieroglyphs that show up in the aura. But I mean, to capture this kind of thing in physical, when spirit's talking about it and I'm getting downloads, and then we're seeing this kind of thing come into our actual physical dimension, this is part of my soul mission. And, part of that little child spirit of me from when I was a kid that's telling my mum and dad that this stuff is real. And, that's why, I've got photos of UFOs, things like this, or videos on my website, on my YouTube and things. It's part of my soul mission to help bring this into our awareness on the physical earth dimension, because this is where we're going. Essentially, at the end of the day, this is why I talk about, eating for our light bodies, starting to grow this spiritual frequency, this spiritual energy, and really connect the dots, because we're going from third dimensional density into fourth, fifth, and higher. Oh, thank you, Shauna.
You are sparkling today. You are very glowing. You always are, but there's something even more about today. So that's amazing. Oh, Melissa says, hope JC feels better soon. Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I slept well last night, though, for the first time still.
good.
Yeah, we're getting there. Appreciate that. Man, so folks, what's your schedule looking like for now? I know that the last time you were on here, you were booked almost 2 solid months ahead of the show. What's it looking like now for people who want to get a session with you?
I think that it's about mid-March at this stage, but it's so funny. My clients, even the ones that were booked out, months and months in advance last year, they're like, there's just perfect timing. They're like, I can't believe that these sessions come up right when, I was struggling with something, and it's like, it's the perfect day to talk to you. So spirit really does align to make sure that we're meeting in the right space, the right time. But yeah, I really feel that with the appointments that I've got at the moment, with 2022, the energy of it, it's just super important to make sure that we're getting the work done. So if you are feeling drawn, or you do feel kind of that magnetic pull, or there's something that's sort of speaking to you about like what we're saying, I really encourage you to use the discount code to do the booking.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's get into the topics of tonight. We have about 45 minutes left, and I want to make sure we take some questions from the audience also. So guys, if you have questions for Solreta, please put them in high caps here in the live chat. And I'll also be paying attention to the PayPal tip jar for questions as well. So Solreta, let's get into this idea of black goo. I know there's another topic out there that's kind of related to this, that is sensitive for the YouTube algorithm. So you and I are going to choose our words a little bit here for the audience and try to navigate this as best we can. So I'll give you the mic here to develop a storyboard here for the audience.
Perfect. And I feel like we need to kind of learn how to speak sign language with the amount of censorship that you and I have received. And you know what's funny? I was talking about this with my partner this morning, and I said it's not necessarily the taboo topics that we talk about that I think get us censored. Sometimes I actually think that it's the bringing people into a connected consciousness. It's the frequency, it's the energy, and you just have the most beautiful soul tribe. And I think that, you know, the activations that happen when we all come together are possibly part of the reason with the censorship too. But I will be really careful using code words. So this topic, I think we're safe, because I have seen a couple of people have it in the video titles where I think we're safe to talk about black goo.
Right.
For a lot of your audience, they're so switched on and so well versed in research that I think they'll realize that black goo, or something that ends with the, I'm trying to think of the word to use with it.
We could say that's something that is also included in some of the products going around the world right now.
Yeah, some of the products being peddled and pushed worldwide, that this, you know, might be one of the ingredients. But anyway, I had a dream, and I said to you after the dream, I'm like, hey, do you want to do a show on black goo? Because I've just been getting so many downloads around this, and even to the point of where I'm talking about it with some people that are, you know, kind of like prepper mindset and see what's going on in the world. And I'm talking to them about this stuff. I'm like, look, I know this sounds super crazy, but just hear me out. And they're like, you know what? That actually makes sense. So I had this dream that there was a voice in the dream. There was an energy. And this is not the first time that I've had a dream where that black goo energy has actually spoken to me in a dream. It appears as a trickster energy. And there is a bit of a backstory connected to do with Forgotten Origin, Stephen and Evan Strong, and an Atlantean ring that I held. So I'll try and come full circle. But so this sparked with a dream. In the dream, what was being shown to me, that the entity in the dream said that 80% of people had taken the, you know what. And in my dream, I'm like, well, that's not true. But it was this entity trying to put forth this energy of, okay, because 80% of humanity had agreed to take this, that means that the other 20% get no say. And they will then be assimilated and uploaded into kind of like a hive mind, or this AI integrated reality that we're seeing people talk about that might be connected with certain ingredients. But anyway, the way that I saw it and have seen it for a while is with the black goo side of things. To me, it always appears as kind of like an alien or a very primordial, I can only use the word like alien consciousness or ET consciousness. And what I also saw was visions of this going from planet to planet. I don't feel that it's just our planet that this is surfaced on, or that this kind of consciousness has tried to come in as a trickster element and take over. So another dream that I had a few years back was the black goo appearing to me as this goddess kind of deity rising up out of the earth, trying to, I guess, project this beautiful element of connecting to nature and, you know, being this highly enlightened being, but it did not feel authentic. And that's what I say, like with your spiritual experiences or ET contact or ascended masters, you always want to be checking in. Do you love me unconditionally when you're met with a being or met with a guide? Or are you there for my best and highest good? So this entity in the dream definitely was not. I chose to wake myself up out of the dream, do some clearing, go back in the dream and change the reality of that dream, because I don't like leaving, you know, open ends. I always want to clear it, disconnect from it, sort of sever that, and, you know, put up those layers of protection. So I did start to have communication from this a couple of years ago. So next part of the story, I've actually...
Okay, hold your thought right there. Hold on. Hold your thought right there. Just for the audience who might not be tracking with us, Lanita321 in the chat. Yes. Black goo, is that blah, 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 blah. You're on the right track. So for everybody else who wasn't sure here, just read what's on the screen. We'll try to watch our words here. And also, I wanted to point to the audience here a tweet from a couple of days ago. This was also found in some of the products. And Cliff was suggesting that it kind of looks like a circuit board, and that it's taking it it's energy from it being moved across the bloodstream. So it's taking the energy from that friction itself. So there's a lot there. And if you remember, maybe a month prior, there were researchers looking at some other things inside this product also that maybe connect to the conversation we're having now. So we're kind of following these threads for you, the audience here, who are not sure what we're talking about. Oh, there you go.
I'm
You
just
have it in your
looking
notes.
for where I've written.
There you go. Yes. The big P word.
Yeah. So that's the way that it's always appeared to me as well. So next part of I guess, the story, going back to last year when I was holding, so Stephen and Evan Strong from Forgotten Origin, who talk a lot about the rocks and about the Uluru prophecy and work with some of the beautiful elders that we have here. They got me to hold a ring. I sent you a photo of the ring just in Messenger chat just before we started. So I've worked holding a lot of the rocks and some of the different artifacts, which I feel very honored and very lucky to be one of the psychics that's worked with some of these objects, because some of these objects have actually, or some of the rocks in particular, have actually, whether it's killed people or made them really sick. So they're not something that you can just go up and pick up and hold. People get sick or even die with some of these things. So you have to wait for permission. It has to be a certain timing, and you have to have the okay to go ahead and hold this. So
and you have to be at the right frequency also.
Yeah, that's the thing. So there was 2 psychics that held this before me. One of them got sick with blood poisoning. And if we know anything from the ingredients and where this infiltrates, that it alters the structure of our blood when we look back to the product that we were just talking about and we look to the parasite side of this. So I got the opportunity to hold this ring, had my guides there. What was really interesting was I'm holding this ring and, put my laser protection and everything up, holding this ring. All of a sudden, it starts to sink into my hand energetically. And I feel that it tries to assimilate and tries to merge with my consciousness. But on a physical blood chemistry level, I was being shown a hexagon type shape. Now, jump forward to where we are right now and some of the science coming out around the geometric structure of that ingredient that was mentioned just before. We know that it's more hexagonal or like a hexagon type shape. I did not connect the dots until I started to see some of the data coming out around these parasite type structures and around how people talk about it cutting through different physical blood vessels and things like razor blades. So, really interesting to see that match up. So go back to holding this object in my hand, I start to see it wanting to merge and change my blood chemistry. And what it said to me, because this ring has a consciousness, you can hear it speak telepathically. So what I saw was, jump back to before the ring was made. This was a black goo that I saw. So I'm conveying this message to Stephen and Evan as I'm holding the object. They're taking notes, and Stephen's like blown away, going, getting excited, can't wait to tell me like the findings, because he's already interviewed 2 other psychics that have held this. And so I'm obviously like hitting the mark, matching up points, the 3 of us who don't know each other, by the way. And so what I started to see was this black goo entity that convinced an alchemist to make this ring. So this is going back to the days of Atlantis. And so what happened was, this ring, a lot of people, when they see this, are called almost like a golem type effect in Lord of the Rings to put it on. Even people that don't care about jewelry have this thing of wanting to touch this ring, like a my precious type scenario. So, it's not something that anyone can just try on. Yeah. So what was shown to me was a trickster type nature to this black goo. And with what I found out holding the ring was that it had consumed many souls, and that not many people are a genetic match for this black goo entity to be able to absorb it and take over the blood chemistry structure and shift it. So if we look into people being host for this black goo entity, there's not many biochemical matches or bioidentical matches that you can get. Look into the connection around DNA data collection that's happened over the last 2 years. What are they looking for? Like, it's about connecting the dots.
Right.
So this is massive, because there will be certain genetic matches that can assimilate with this. Even down to, I'll wait until we get to the end to come back to this, but there is this is even starting to be released about genetic matches with black goo and things in movies. So yeah, I hold this. It wants to assimilate. So I'm like getting messages, receiving information from this, and I forget everything I said, but Stephen and Evan Strong do have a link to it in one of the videos, and they're happy for you guys to reach out, you know, if there's anything.
Can the audience find it here at
I'm not sure which video. I
forgottenorigin.com?
think it was perhaps even a Facebook update.
Okay.
But there was main key points. I saw it consume. There was a discrepancy between how many souls one psychic said that it I guess assimilated and killed. And I said, I think I said around 500,000 or something. I saw a massive amount, but it was going from person to person with this ring being the vehicle of how it was able to try. And so it's looking for a match. It's looking for something that it can, a host, ideally. But what happens when it actually assimilates into the blood chemistry? Most of the time people get blood poisoning. So one of the psychics that held this before me got blood poisoning and was sick for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Another one was sick for a couple of days. So my guides are standing there as I'm holding and viewing this. And I'm saying to Stephen, I think it might be time for me to give it over. My guides, you know, they're holding the energy. They're holding me in protection and a buffer. But I said, I'm feeling okay, but I just know that this is not a good object to hold. So I put it down, went and washed my hands with a special blend of protection oil that I have, shook it off and continued to read the object from a distance. So I use psychometry to tune into objects, photos, vibrations, names, different things to pick up information and to read this way. So the other information that I got with it was, that it's looking for and has been seeking for a long time to find a match for it to work with. So, you know, link that to the information of all the testing and data gathering and the pushing that's happening to take the, you know what. So yeah, I just got a couple of notes here. So my connection with it, or like what I received, was that it was alien off-world, that it's even consumed planets. So I was seeing this goo go into the host of particular planets and take over the consciousness. Now, it does have kind of like a little bit of a hive mind type energy to it. Not everyone survives in terms of, this taking over or assimilating the consciousness and the soul frequency. What I wrote down was it changes geometric structure of the blood. A poisoning can occur. I saw it as a parasite, as an entity. This was the way that it appeared to me. Now, from the start of the thing that's been going on worldwide for the last 2 years, the information with my background in natural medicine, I asked Spirit, what can we do to protect ourselves from these types of things that, that's going around? So what I saw was pau de arco, which is a South American herb or South American bark. Pau de arco is what you take to eliminate parasites. So, with all the information I've been receiving over the last couple of years, all the dots are finally coming together, finally connecting. Pau de arco is antimicrobial, antibacterial, anti-candida, anti-parasitic, but it protects your DNA and it protects the RNA. It protects the manipulation. So Google Pau de arco, which is P-A-U, separate word D, separate word A-R-C-O, and it protects against your DNA being manipulated. So really important bark to look into. I'm not giving any advice on people taking it or anything like that. I'm just saying this is a very interesting herb to look into. So it does have that trickster ego type nature. It's definitely not to be trusted because it also does have an ability to project into the mind as well. Oh, that's an interesting question, what Amanda's put up as well, because I do resonate with a lot of what Cliff says. I know at the start he was talking about, reishi and chaga and things like this. And I definitely feel that the mushrooms also provide a layer of protection. To me, the mushrooms are, they've appeared to me in dreams and things too. Thanks, JC. The mushrooms are a kingdom that is trying to help humanity. So
we did a whole show on mushrooms. Was that on my previous channel? I remember you and I doing a show on that.
I think Yeah, we did do a show on mushrooms, but yeah,
Yeah.
it is a kingdom that's trying to help humanity heal and
Mhm.
awaken, whether it's on a physical level or, a psychic activation, multidimensional level. They're a kingdom unto their own. And the way that they communicate with mycelium networks and the way that they reach out and kind of, will grow in certain areas and sort of be gifting to humans.
Mhm.
So we did do a show on that, where if anyone wants to find that, I'm sure it's up there. So what so they're looking for a bioidentical match, is what I've written. So it absorbs into the system of the host and it assimilates. So I have even seen that people have reported that some of the people that have had the thing, that their eyes have gone black. Really interesting, because I even just saw that in a movie the other day too. So I'm hearing some
You
really
mean the old
interesting.
X-Files movie? That one?
No,
No?
it was actually, I'll get to it sort of at the end because I don't want to distract. I know that there's some people that are a little bit ADHD like me and they'll be Googling. But yeah, so yeah, it kills most because it's not a bioidentical match. So this is where we're also seeing different illnesses that are happening within the blood at the
Mm.
moment as well. It's looking and seeking a specific gene code is one of the most important bits of information that comes through. I also got downloads about that the gene code it's looking for is held in the mitochondrial DNA. So we know that that is passed down from the mother's lineage. We do have, I think it's a nucleate or a nuclear DNA as well, which is both parents' genes. I saw this working with the mitochondrial DNA. So when we look into, in history and archaeology, and they find Eve that was in Africa, one of the earlier humans, even though Stephen and Evan Strong have found evidence to support that the earliest humans came from Australia, what they look for is the mitochondrial mother's DNA. So this, they're looking for a gene code match that's held within the mitochondrial mother's DNA. So if we look back through history, there's a couple of famous females, whether we look to the Magdalene bloodline or whether we look to you know other specific bloodlines. I feel that they're
Mhm.
looking for this gene code. Anyway, I'm sure that there's others. This, to me, I feel is to do with alien hybrid DNA, because I feel that it's not just normal human DNA that can withstand this. It has to be some kind of DNA that's specific and is quite clever in the way that it can open doors and assimilate different things. So I'm just seeing if there's anything else that we need to talk about. Pal to Arco protects the DNA and RNA manipulation. The movie that I was referencing and talking about was one that my partner's son was just so intent on watching the other day, a movie called Venom. And my
Oh,
partner and I were really hesitant because we're like, that's on black goo.
yeah.
We don't want him to watch that. And we're just, he was basically just wore us down. We're like, okay, we'll watch it, but if it's scary, we're turning it off. So many, oh my God, moments in Venom to do with it being a parasite, to do with it being an entity, to do with it being this black goo that comes from out of space. It just lines up with everything that I was receiving and downloading. Super interesting. It even talks about in the movie that most people that it kills the host. So it was looking for a bioidentical or genetic match. It's just so far out and crazy.
Well,
So
this is why this is called the deep woo-woo show.
exactly. We
Right.
can talk about this. We're with family and friends here. I love it.
Of course.
So based on what I was shown from this black goo having been on other planets and taking over host, if we look at the possibility or the potentiality of that could be what's happening here, this is very interesting to think about.
Yeah.
So it's something to meditate on a personal level. What does this mean to you guys? What should we be doing to buffer, to protect? And not forgetting that this is also something that can infiltrate on a telepathic level. So it's not necessarily something that you just have to be, to take into the body, so to speak,
Yeah.
because this will be speaking to some people like what do they call it? I'm trying to think of the name. It's almost you know, Elon Musk talks about the technology that they have where you can speak into someone's brain. And I know that a few people
Voice of
have.
God technology.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah.
you know, I also feel that it has a little bit of that kind of element to it where it could be perhaps telling people to go and get the, you know what, because
Okay.
it's trying to find
Hold on.
host.
Hold on a second. I know there's a little bit of an echo. There was Cliff High talked about this a couple of months ago where he was getting those exact thoughts. And he's like, wait, these are not my thoughts. I'm vehemently opposed to getting, but the thoughts he was getting was like, okay, you should take it. Everything will be fine. And as he was trying to push away those thoughts, he had a few emails from other psychic people saying, hey, are you getting these weird thoughts out of the blue that are not yours? And he said, yes. So there was.
I had the same.
Yeah.
And some of my friends that are very switched on had the same when we all got together. And it was like no one wanted to say. And my beautiful friend, he's like, hey, has anyone else had this thought? He's like, I'd never do it. But he goes, I heard this voice. And he goes, I knew it wasn't mine. And then the rest of us all said the same thing.
What do you make of, there's this conversation happening also, and I'm not saying it's bad or not. I love conversations. This is how we discover things as humans, being able to receive and give information from people who have different voices and different opinions. So there is some discussion happening on how, let me try to frame this properly. People are saying that, okay, there's this whole thing going on in the world right now, and perhaps the highly energetically attuned people, the masters here on the planet, should accept this thing in order to transmute it for the rest of humanity. So they're having this conversation. And when I absorb that conversation, I look at it, okay, is there value to that? I'm trying to see where there could be value to that. And every time I get a hard no, absolutely not.
Same.
Okay. So, and I'm trying to figure out
I would
why.
fight to the death.
Right.
Objection to that, definitely.
Big objection. And I'm like, I'm not opposed to using your energy, your frequency in that way, generally speaking, in the road to self-mastery. And this is what this whole show is all about. But in this particular topic, that conversation seems to me similar to the messages that Cliff High was getting. Oh, you have to take this, it'll be fine. It's another tactic to try to get people to consent when in fact they're not consenting. One. And two, even if there were benefits, and even if the highly energetic people and the masters, all that, could transmute it in some way, by saying yes to it, they're also saying that yes to what comes after it, which is the passports, the control, the XYZ, the slavery that comes at the end. So that's still not a good outcome.
Consciousness too. I mean, that was what appeared to me in the dream, was that they were uploading consciousness into a simulated reality. So it's simulated reality within a simulated reality, which is the topic that you and I love to talk about. To me, it was a big, fat, hard no.
Yeah.
Like with that, because this is about sovereignty. On all levels right now, we are facing issues of sovereignty. Spiritual sovereignty is probably like the one that is easiest to slide under or to project that, you know, we should assimilate or we should do, you know, the certain things you just mentioned. To me, we need to stand for sovereignty on every single level. The genetic code of humans, and if we look to what the beautiful original elders say here in Australia, and we look to the Gosford glyphs and the hieroglyphs that are on the walls there, the Pleiadians came down and seeded with humanity. So we are a very special created genetic race, humans. And this is what I'm talking about with this, the gene code, that they're looking for perhaps genes that may be higher of, hybrid DNA.
Somebody higher in the chat, and I've lost it now from the buffer, was asking, oh, do you think this ring or this black goo is looking for RH negative factor people? And there's a few more. Actually, another question here. Oops, I just came off the screen. Do you think that has a factor in here? Because you and I have had the conversation where the RH negative vessels had been used for the longest time on this planet for the reincarnation purpose of some of the rulers here. And now with all of these star seeds coming in, they're also using these vessels to kind of level the playing field in this particular spiritual battle that we're in. So is it possible that this black goo is also looking for those vehicles somehow? Did that come out in your reading?
That's actually really, really interesting, because I haven't looked into that myself, like having held the ring. To me, I did wonder when I was holding it, and I could see that it wanted to merge with my blood and change the genetic structure. I know my blood type is O positive, so I don't have the Reese negative factor at all.
Mhm.
I do have my cards here. Let's have a look into that question because that's super interesting, JC. And I
Cool.
just had the power card come out. This to me looks like a cell in relation to this question. And what we're seeing is a gateway at the top. See that little gateway that comes into the cell? Now, if we're looking at mitochondrial DNA, so a mitochondrial cell is the powerhouse cell too. So this almost looks like a gate or a doorway into the mitochondrial cell. So I'm just going to ask for some more cards to do with, is it looking for that RH negative bloodline?
Yeah, because again, if it is true that some of our starseed warriors are incarnating in Rh negative blood types, it could be possible that the bad side here is trying to prevent that some way or to diminish the efficacy of that particular strategy. While
Yeah.
you're picking up cards on that too, for the audience members, I just wanted to point out that May Levy is coming back on the show on the 11th of January at 8 p.m. You see a poster here, and she's in the chat now with a really interesting dream. So we'll get to that in just a
Cool.
minute. But I wanted you guys to maybe check out this poster here and set that reminder for that next show with May Levy. Okay, so back to the RH negative question
Yeah.
here with the cards.
I just want to say hi to May. I haven't met you yet. Hello. So
Hello,
the
May.
energy, the energy that I'm getting as I tune into the cards, because we don't always get to go straight into the answers. Sometimes they'll lay out something. So what they're showing me is there's a learning taking place within the Black goo consciousness. So I'm seeing all this yellow come up. Yellow for me is my color of learning, education, study. What they're doing is acquiring different things. So just as like AI will pick up on algorithms and it will pick up on different human habits or, other things, and it forms like a database. What I'm seeing with this is this entity coming in almost parasitic or serpent-like, and it's assimilating and accumulating human knowledge, human information, human emotion. So I'll flip the cards and we'll see what we get. Oh, wow. Yeah, they're definitely looking for a genetic match. I don't feel that it has to be just the RH negative. I feel that they're learning from different aspects of other ET hybrids and different things. I feel that the closer that someone is to being, I guess, we've used the term muggle before,
Yeah.
like non-magical or more kind of like definitely on the
Dim
human
side.
yeah, it's sort of possibly a bit more intense in some way or not open to
Mhm.
different things. I'm seeing that these are more the ones that are perhaps like having some issues. But what we see too is, look at this. This to me looks like cells. Each of them looks like something, some kind of manipulation or genetic kind of takeover on the cells. What I'll do is actually get my other deck of cards too.
And while you're doing that,
Look into clarification,
very
because
interesting.
what we've got with, sorry, what was
Sorry.
that, JC?
I was going to say, while you're putting up your decks here, guys, on the new website, solreta.com, you can shop her deck of cards also. She's created one for herself there. So you can go and check out that shop.
Thank
Here.
you.
That's
Which has
solreta.com.
light language and a lot of Syrian star system energy in that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I'm getting with this, I'm just going to get some clarification from this other deck. But we can see here, this is what they're seeking. See, this looks like gene codes that have been activated that have that higher dimensional. This is the 9 of discs. This is something, that is actualized. It is kind of like where we're wanting to go in terms of spiritual activation, but they're wanting to shut it down. This is the card of dominion. They're wanting to kind of like put a cancellation on these genes, keep it in a lower frequency, lower vibration, because then they can infiltrate and operate and take over this dimension or this realm. We've got the Sun card though, which is a positive, beautiful card. It's one of the happiest in the deck. So I see that humanity overcomes this thing, the parasite. So that's good to know.
Good news, yeah.
Let me just flip these other cards. Yeah, this is interesting. We've got the Chariot card, 10 of Cups, and the 5 of Discs. We've got to keep the frequency high. We've got to keep focused on the vision and the outcome of what we want, because there is a multidimensional connection happening, not just like within our reality. This is kind of like a universal, to me, I saw it as a galactic war that's being played out on and off world, taken over many different places. So, we've got to hold that vision. We've got to know that there is also other ET energies, this kind of thing that's hanging around outside of our realm, that's trying to wake people up, that's trying to assess the same thing not happening that it's happened on other planets and other systems and other realms.
Right.
We do have the card of worry. To me, a 5 of disc is a card of, worry is a card of heavy emotion. It is a card of stagnancy. The word that comes to mind is woe is me. So we need to do as much as we can to keep this vibe high, the frequency high, and keep moving forward in relation to this. So the best thing to do is to be informed. When we know about something, then we're not going to be taken over or have suggestions made to us. So be aware if you do have all of a sudden thoughts that aren't your thoughts, that don't go along with your belief system. Feel into, is it a hard yes or a hard no?
Right.
But yeah, really interesting looking into that side of things.
There's a few people in the Lavender Sky says, that's the trickster lie. Just
Yeah.
think it. Oh, heck no. Yeah, that was my reaction too. But then I caught myself. I said, wait a second. Let me evaluate. Every time I have a different point of view that's not mine, I'm like, okay, let's take the time to really evaluate. And I still came up with, no, heck no.
Yeah, definitely. And I just got a final card. This is my card for transformation. This little symbol down here that we see in Hebrew is called Shin. So it's one of the Hebrew alphabets. Now this means, this is really interesting because look at it. It's a womb energy. There's the mother at the top. There's the little babies here. This is to do with DNA. This is to do with mitochondrial DNA. Remember, we're talking about this. So we've got a card that matches this. The symbol Shin is to do with the great breaking down of the old and grinding into something that we can fashion and refire and remake into something new. So if we're looking at black goo going into people, this is the breaking down of the old human way and refashioning into something that's not 100% human anymore. The DNA has been altered, and we know that from the mRNA as well.
Sorry, I had my mic on mute there. I thought I was going to sneeze there for a second. Okay, let's get to May Levy's question. Let me see if I can bring her poster back up here for the audience. Here we go. And May is asking, okay, I had a dream. A huge black alien with no face was chasing me while I was pregnant and had a key in my hand. Just looks like the black creature in Venom. Okay, let's try to decode that and pick up some cards on perhaps what that symbology was speaking to. And thank you, May, for sharing. I really appreciate that.
So I just got chills up and down my spine when she was talking about this too. So if we look into parasites and we look into it from a terrain level and terrain modification, there are certain energetic layers in which they'll try to infiltrate, whether it's on a psychic level. If they can't get in on that way, they'll try to get in on an emotional level. Usually it starts from the ground up. So they'll try physically get in through, having an unhealthy microbiome or unhealthy gut. So they'll come in through sugar cravings, fast food cravings. This is why it's essentially super important right now that we take full governance and sovereignty over our diets, and that we really do. I've got so many talks on YouTube about, diet and about, making sure that we're eating superfoods and that we're eating an alkaline diet. Because if we're alkaline, this is an inhabitable microbiome and organic basis for parasites. They don't like alkaline. They like to thrive in an acidic background. So I just want to lay that out, that's really important to look at, parasites and how we can protect on a physical level. But yeah, they can infiltrate and come in through dreams. And what happens is they break down the psychic bonds and they try and sort of condition or open the gateway to then control on a mind level to direct to different things. So we know the story of with the parasite that gets into rats and into mice, that it will put itself in danger in front of cats because it wants to get into the cat. Those parasites are a highly interesting topic. I encourage people to look at it from just even like, just get onto Google and start looking up parasites. Yeah, so I'm just looking at it that way. Let's have a look into the cards and see what the cards are saying about this. So I
Okay.
do feel that there was psychic contact to do with opening up or seeing May as being this beautiful light that's switched on. So sometimes when the lights are glowing and switched on a light body level, it does attract the dark. So we need to, have up these layers of protection. I'm sure that she probably did a clearing, as soon as having this happen. So let's flip these cards over.
And just so
Okay.
you know, May is a practitioner of light language activation and deep
Oh,
intuitive
awesome.
healing. So she is very bright. And yes, she's
Yeah, I
attracting a lot
feel
of
that
the
with her. Because look at
absolutely.
the card we've got. I just flipped it over. We've got the Hermit card, the bringer of light.
Yeah.
So we see this beautiful sun energy come in. Look at the parasite. It looks to me like a sperm.
Mhm.
But we can see the parasite coming towards this light in this card too. But what we had was Eight of Wands. For me, this is kind of like our spiritual compass. Something was trying to change her spiritual compass or throw her offline. It was really trying to infiltrate and get to the subconscious mind and saw perhaps potentially a doorway open. I do feel that it was also trying to, I guess, infiltrate that consciousness of the baby as well. So I
Oh.
feel that she cleared it and closed the door to that, shut everything down. So I don't feel like anyone was, harmed in that situation. But it was, I guess, just to be aware of being open on that multidimensional reality. I'm just going to see if there was positive things that came out of it too. Yeah, this is beautiful. The Hanged Man. So it really, I guess, it was a positive thing, and it made her aware of these sort of entities or these sort of things existing in another state, and that they can come in and infiltrate. But it made her strengthen her grid and pop up more protection, more light in regards to this too. So it only made her stronger, is what I'm seeing in this situation.
Well, I love to hear that. Let's talk about. Wait, I just had a question there. Somebody was asking something higher in the chat. Oh, I forget who it was. Somebody was asking about 2222. So February 22nd, 2022. A lot of psychics have
Oh,
been talking about these 22s last year, and now we're all kind of maybe focusing on this February. What do you have any thoughts on that personally? And if not, can you? Well, first, if you do, please share them with the audience. But if not, let's pull some cards also on
yeah.
perhaps what the meaning is with this particular portal, February 22, 2022.
And I'm excited because I saw that update video that you did yesterday, and you said about Janine getting the rainbow. So I
Mm-hmm.
actually got a rainbow yesterday, and it was, I think, just before I saw your update, about like portal activation. So I just remembered to
Oh,
share.
nice.
Yeah, yeah, it
Wow.
was gorgeous, and it felt amazing. It felt like other earthly, unworldly energy coming into ours.
Mhm.
But on the way back driving to do the show today, look what I had on the speedo of my car.
Nice. That's a lot of
Yeah.
threes.
Spirit's just like, look down at your speedo. There's this magic number there. And I look and I'm like, whoa. Because I
Yeah.
always get 333s. Like 333
Yeah,
to
me
me,
too.
I'm in vibrational resonance. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But
Yeah.
222 is connected to do with it's a higher form of love that's coming onto the earth. So if we can open up our mind, our hearts to this higher form of love that's actually being shined onto the planet right now. Like, yes, we are having the dark trying to come up, trying to take things over, but we're punching it and hitting it back down with the light too. So I'll pick some cards on this and we'll see about the 222.
Okay. And I
I
found
just,
one of the questions is from Alex. It's on the screen now about the 22s. And I have a few questions for you on the PayPal also.
oh, cool.
Maybe two or three, and then we'll be able to round out the show on those.
Yeah. So even just when I was closing my eyes to shuffle cards, I saw my card of adjustment, which is the card of justice. It's the card of going, from this third dimensional reality into fourth, fifth, and higher. For me, I get the symbol of Visca Pisces, which is two worlds that are interlocking, or it's to do with the anchoring of ascension energy too. So with the 222s, like I just get a really good feeling with that. So what
Mhm.
I'm also seeing is the rainbow that we were just talking about, like seeing these rainbow frequencies come in with it. There's a lot of Pleiadian energy that's anchoring with the 222s. It's like the doorway to our, I guess, dimension is much easier, much less dense to be able to operate and to, I guess, assimilate with on a psychic level, but it's a positive assimilation because they're here to remind us that we are them. They're here to remind us about how, I guess, we have a mission. So for all of the starseeds that are watching, we have a mission with why we're here on the planet at this particular point in time. And as hard as it gets, I know that it does for a lot of you out there, there's still that feeling of we're here for the mission. This particular time, we're here to show up. So we need to really be mindful of our mindset at the moment and about our emotions and what we let occupy us. So it is about being that guardian on the threshold, tune into these higher frequencies that are connected to do with 222. We also have like the Christ consciousness energy is connected. The Magdalene energy is connected to it. The energy of the rose and unconditional love is also connected with the 222. Oh, wow. That's really cool, Laurie. And I'm just looking. Oh, this is beautiful, JC. We've got the Hermit card. You know, it's here to help shine the light. So if we look into what's happening for this year, we've all been little star seeds hiding away, doing our own little thing. It's time to emerge out. It's time to bring the knowledge of why you came here to Earth. It's time to share. It's time to talk. It's time to, you know, find your tribe too. We've got the Emperor energy as well, which is growth, abundance, expansion. So with this is about switching your light on. It's not about hiding away. So think about how can you be your best version of self in 2022? How can you start to actually shine and illuminate that light? And, you know, when you meet people, when you present yourself, step forward with this light first. We've got the Lovers card come up with this. Here is this energy that I was just talking about too, to do with higher spirit coming down and to do with this Pleiadian and the other ETs that are here to help us. They're coming into our human paradigm. We're literally seeing in the background, this looks like a dimensional vortex open, or it looks like reminding me to let the chickens out. We see here this beautiful vortex, which, you know, I know that we've talked about domes and we've talked about realms and things in this Earth realm. We can see that there's other higher dimensions that are coming in to assist humanity. It doesn't matter, like, you know, skin color, all of these things that are fighting on Earth at the moment, it does not matter. They're coming to help shift that vibrational frequency. You know, so tap into, channel in, and work with this beautiful Venus energy that we're having come onto the planet. We are in Venus retrograde at the moment. So what this is doing, it's a cycle that started, or I should say, it's a cycle and a pattern that whatever we were doing 8 years ago. So it did start at the end of last year, the Venus retrograde. So we're probably looking about the 2014 mark. So looking back to the types of relationships you were in 14 years ago, what was coming up for you to do with self-love or to do with lessons that you were learning? Look at if any of these are still coming up. If we can push past this and finish the lessons off, we can leave that in 2021, or we can leave it in the start of this year and really kind of progress and move forth and move into this higher state of self-awareness, this higher state of love. So Venus is about bringing beauty, love, inspiration, creativity, muse-like energy onto the planet. So really, you know, tap into that for 2022. I'm just getting a massive high pitch, like deafening in my left ear as we talk about this.
It's so funny too. Crypto Nana, I think she's had a reading with you before or last year. Her birthday is on February 22nd, 22. Michael Query also, and who else? Chris.
Wow.
That's just fucking crazy. Sorry for my French.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow. Okay. I love that.
I literally got with that giant ring that was happening, and it's still going there. I actually saw, you know, like in the Matrix when they shoot the bullet and you see it like go through the sky. Yeah, I saw that happen through realms. So just as we have here, like 3 realms deep, pretty much, I just saw this high-pitched frequency coming into our realm. So they're definitely working with us, helping us get back on track and attune to these higher levels of energy. If we want to see a gorgeous example of Venus incarnate on the earth, you know, we have many stories throughout history, like Aphrodite working with Venus. For me, the one that resonates the most is Hathor. Now, there was a reason that her face was eroded and taken off a lot of Egyptian temples, because what she stood for, what she brought, but not only that, her face was a total ET face. So, yeah, This is about
Here's
remembering
here's
who
the
we are.
image of your bullets.
There we go. So
Here.
I just saw that literally come through as an energetic, almost like a sonar frequency coming onto the earth. So they're here for us. We just have to tap in and receive. So it's as simple as going into meditation, put your protection up to anything that's not of the light or doesn't have your best and highest good or love you unconditionally. Look at that. Another one.
That's a lot. Oh my God. Okay, let's get to some PayPal tip jar questions here. I'll do 3 because we're already at the hour mark here. Let's try to get these done in high order in rapid fire, maybe. Lisa DiMartino. Okay, let me see if I can zoom this in on the screen so you guys can see it. Wait, I'll take the Libby coming out. Hi, Libby. All right, so you guys can see this. Yeah, Lisa says, love to see you both. I am able to see my past lives. Will I be able to develop for others too?
Yeah, let's have a look. Oh, I love Lisa. She's gorgeous. She's one of my beautiful clients. So what I'm seeing is a learning path happen at the moment. I just heard the words QHT. It's that particular type of hypnotherapy.
QHHT, quantum healing hypnotherapy.
I just saw it from spirit, and I'm actually getting that high-pitched frequency coming through too. So I do feel like your guides are encouraging you. They're going like this. They're like just turning and redirecting on the pathway. So they're saying it's so easy to get distracted or to get sidetracked from your mission. I'm just going to feel into these energies. I'm seeing a lot of like study, education, learning come in for 2022. What I'm actually being shown is that on a soul level, you already know how to tap into, how to create that reality, how to create that experience for the clients, because it's essentially about holding energetic space and holding a door open, facilitating them to be able to lovingly go into a safe space of where they can tap into things that were perhaps, traumatic in different lifetimes, or things that are perhaps deeply buried and embedded within their soul's consciousness. So you're able to hold that gateway or vortex open for them to tap in and dive into it in a really safe, loving manner. Just that energy and space that you bring. And we have these energies here. Queen of Wands. This is someone who is definitely connected and is here to illuminate. I'm just hearing really cutely Spirit saying boss up. So we have the Empress energy too. And I know Lisa, she has a gorgeous family. They're really such a loving, beautiful family, but you need to make time for yourself. You need to put aside, love you too, gorgeous. You need to make time for yourself in order to make sure that you get the job done that you came here to do. We also see, look at this, there's that higher dimensional realities and realms in the vortex that she's holding that open. So we've got the clarification and confirmation with what Spirit said. Then we got the same message when we flip the card. This is all to do with transformation, but for me, this card in particular relates to past life energies. So we can see here, this is similar to in Indian culture, sometimes you'll see drawings of like the soul's incarnations being looped together, or being like a ladder or a pathway. So I am seeing that you're accessing and working people. I'm just dropped this card. Okay. So yeah, I hope that helps, Lisa. And I'm excited to hear about your journey with that, because I think it would be amazing.
Very good. Okay, let me get to the next question here. And thank you, Lisa, for that. And Lisa, were you the one talking to me about Dolores Cannon the other day in the chat? And I'm like, oh, yes, I know. So anyways, it's hard to read all the questions sometimes in the chat. It goes by so fast. I didn't rate, yes, QHHT and Lisa. Wait, who was it? Lisa Laura. Quantum hypnosis healing therapy. And you can probably find those books.
Someone asked what deck. It is the Thoth deck.
Thoth, okay.
Yeah.
I say so.
And it's based on Egyptian tarot. So this is why you'll see me read it with my eyes closed with psychometry, because symbols and things of esoteric nature speak to the subconscious and unconscious mind. So for me, that's why I'm able to tap in and sometimes see images and pictures, and we flip the cards, and the same thing is on the cards.
Yeah. Rosalie says, thank you, SOLRETA, for your wisdom. You're such a bright soul. I agree. Very bright. Okay. Let's get to this next one here. Katarina Kusk. Next 6 months for me. Thank you.
Yeah, let's have a look. Okay, the first thing that I'm seeing. So the first thing I'm seeing, like touching the cards, is I'm seeing a lot of rainbow energy come in for you. This is interesting. Okay, I always say exactly what I see, no matter how random. So what I'm seeing is the energy of a rainbow come in, and I'm seeing a childhood toy of a Care Bear. And so we know that the Care Bears have, for those of us that grew up in the 80s, and quite often had Care Bears and things, they do this thing called the Care Bear stare. Now, Care Bears, with the Care Bear stare, is about sending those rainbows out, or about like brightening up gloomy energies or negative spaces and things. It's kind of sending that transformative energy out into the world. So I feel that, so I feel that this is a metaphor for you really believing and tapping into the gifts that you have and taking that out and onto the world, or onto the world, is what I'm seeing. So let me just feel into, I've just got like one hand up receiving and one hand sending out. I feel like there's a lot of healing energy that you're working with too. So let's see. I do feel sort of like around July, possibly, which I guess is going right around that border of the 6 months. That there could be like speed humps or hiccups. Now, I do know from my reading, for anyone that hasn't checked it out, I put up a look into 2022 on my YouTube channel. What I saw was from around mid-year, things getting a little bit bumpy. And it's kind of like the dark sort of starting to expose themselves. So I saw a bumpy couple of few months. So it's that one just there. So I feel like it's holding tight with the speed bumps that we're facing. So I'll flip these cards over. And we see this, and we've got the energy of the devil first up. So there's that speed bump energy that I was talking about. Now, I feel that this is also on a collective level. What we're seeing, though, is you stand up in your strength. You're actually like using the sword to, to block anything that's trying to come in to infiltrate. 7 of Swords is deceptive energy. And when it's linked with the devil too, we know that it can come in unassuming ways. So make sure that your shields are up. If we look at, like a solar shield for re-entry on a spacecraft, we want to make sure that we're not getting heat from other people. That's the way in which Spirit's bringing through this message. We see the 3 of Disc. For me, this is a fire or power that you have that cannot be extinguished. So no matter how much other people try to push your limits, push you in certain directions, or say anything that doesn't resonate with you, you are here to bring the light. You are here to bring forth healing onto the planet, is what I'm seeing with this as well. So we have this gorgeous Knight of Cups energy, and we can see that you're otherworldly. So, these kinds of energies that might, be saying different things. And I know this is an energy that comes up to do with, I guess, we can all feel like the rainbow sheep or the black sheep at times, and feel like that, maybe we want to do things just to fit in, or that we perhaps like let our boundaries slip in order to feel part of, something bigger. And this is hard when it comes to like family and to loved ones. You're so welcome. So this is really about not letting your boundaries slip, holding strong against this, this energy of darkness, because it's coming as a test collectively and it's coming as a test individually. One of the little symbols on this as well, a yin, that we see here connected to do with the Hebrew alphabet, is about darkness getting so dark that it causes the light to be seen in this, or for the light to stand up in the face of darkness. So really powerful message, but I do feel that you have beautiful, gorgeous healing nature, and it's time to sort of bring your gifts forward into the world, because you've come here connected to the other realms. There's things that you do, things that you know that you're here for a purpose for. So it's definitely time to shine that light and to not hide away anymore.
Speaking of the light, Barbara Lightworker is saying such a beautiful message this evening. Thank you both. Solreta, you're a
thank
light.
you.
I agree. And like said Laura, Solreta, you're irreplaceable. That's so true. Man, you got a lot of love in the chat.
Thank you, Laura.
Let's go to the last question here from Julia Keller. Hello. I have been told that I am a starseed. Can you confirm and elaborate, perhaps, on where?
Yeah, let's have a look into Julia.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm actually seeing like a star system. I'm seeing green energy with golden stars, and I'm seeing 3 stars. There's definitely a connection. I'm not seeing it zeroed into one particular star system or planet. I'm seeing multiple. I'm seeing Vega, Lyra, and Sirius. So I'm seeing 3 different ones that are coming up quite strongly. There may be some collective soul memory to do with wars and different things that have taken place with some of these places. I feel that there is a higher level of remembering and consciousness that's there to be able to delve into. So whether it's writing down, I want to find out about or tell me more about like my star heritage, and then answering with the left hand, because this taps into the subconscious mind, whether this is about you having a regression to find out more about your star heritage. It's something we can definitely look into a one-on-one session, whether you want to book an hour or 2-hour session, depends on how much information you want to look into. I do talk nonstop, I should say, in my sessions. So I do let my clients record because it is so much information that comes through. But the other thing that I'm also getting is I'm just tapping into the energy of these different places. There's a lot of memories that have been embedded and buried within the soul's consciousness connected to do with this. I'm also getting the word seer come up and connected. There is clairvoyant abilities that you're able to tap into. I do feel that there is they're saying the word bubbles connected around this, but I do feel that your guides are working with activating clairvoyant vision. So I'm just going to feel into if there's anything else that we need to know around this at the moment. I am hearing star language connected too. I'm just going to do a quick little activation. Okay. And we'll translate into English after. So for some of my star seeds out there, this is a language that's understood empathically. So if there's any visions that you get, colors, sensations, or feelings, just be open to receiving the message. So I'm just going to have a tap into this. So this was connected to do with Julia. Mia soyana haret tokayana haratakaya shunala. Alana yaratakaya soyarana haratokayala. Ia shoyana hayaratakaya nartokaya. So what I'm seeing and feeling is that she's an ancient wisdom keeper. So there was a lot of wisdom and a lot of deep spiritual connected knowledge to the planets that she's lived on. And she's taken these codes from place to place. And she now has these codes that are active within her on Earth. So there has been kind of like a clouding over the memory, or a bubbling effect is the way that spirits bring it through. I've never heard that term before. So what I'm seeing is that you have that chance to go into this, to release these codes, these memories in this soul's wisdom that you've held on and off world many times before. You've collected, I guess we would call it like spiritual information or books of knowledge. So I'll flip these cards. Okay, and we're seeing that in here. We've got the card of virtue. This is someone that has the highest of spiritual frequency. Integrity is the word that comes through with this. This for me is a connection or a soul mission from Earth to the higher realms, and other things coming into place. Now, we talked about 3 stars. Now, these are flowers, but remember I said golden stars. I saw green with 3 gold stars. This is pretty damn close to what we were talking about. Right. This is also about you tapping into your confidence and your inner knowing. We've got 7 of swords, which is sometimes connected to do with speaking up and connected to do with us, no matter what we feel that we're facing, feeling that we can speak up. We've got 3 of disc again. So we are collectively getting some of the similar cards that we had before, but this is about speak up, hold your ground. And again, 3. And we talked about the 3 stars being connected. And we have, that's cool. Nicole.
I think they're referring to your light language.
I'm feeling too. And
yeah.
All I can describe as star ripples. I felt the energy come into this dimension. We've got the 10 of Cups satiety. So this is definitely about activating, bringing your knowledge, bringing your light, bringing your higher love and wisdom onto the planet. So yeah, I'm so encouraging for you to get onto that mission. I would love to do a session one-on-one so we can really lay it out and tap into it and receive higher messages from guides, and to tap into your spiritual soul mission, because it just, it feels incredible.
I'd be curious also if you did one of her aura drawings as you do, and see what ET races might be following her as guides and way showing.
Yeah, definitely, because it comes through visually to me so strong. So when I'm looking at someone's aura, so I hope you don't mind me using you as an example right now, JC, but you have a lot of green energy and gold around you too right now, which is, it's your heart's wisdom being connected to your divine purpose. And I also see that there is an ET being that's standing there that came in just after we did that little activation. So you might want to give him a little bit of love. Okay. Maybe a bit of a kiss. But yeah.
Okay,
We
don't
just
go
had
too far. This is a
start to come
family
up.
rated show.
Yeah, we did have purple and pink start to come up when you did that. But yeah, it's just, I see with my auric eyes, I call them. To me, it's been something that I've had my whole life. But even when I close my eyes, I can see with, that aspect of the third eye or that deeper inner vision, our soul's vision. So I work on a combination of these two auric visions.
Very good. Okay. I'm reading the chats and people are making me
It's so
nervous now.
sweet.
Okay. You guys are gonna make me blush. Well, thank you for that, Liselle, Parmela. I appreciate that. And yeah, I was just trying to have fun with you guys. Man, we're running out of time. So Retta, we're having such a great time tonight, but I have another show that I need to prep for.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
So before we go, let me bring up your link and discount code again for the audience here for your bookings. So let me bring up that and your website as well. So explain to the audience here basically how to navigate this new website of yours, where to go for the bookings, and also what to expect in a reading with you for the new audience members who may not have seen you before.
So I've got like a little explanation on there, but essentially, so when we connect, you'll get sent like an automated Zoom link for the booking session. And yeah, I use all of my gifts of clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, work with psychometry. So I'm really feeling in on a multidimensional level to not only look at your aura, but to look into your questions, look into the aura. For me is like a photo or a snapshot of what's energetically going on at the moment. So depending on where colors are, where the placement is in the aura, will give us guidance on what is happening for you, what's the most important thing to look into. So we start off with that as a basic read. We work with the guides and work with cards and work with spirit to unfold the messages of that aura. And then we go into each of your individual questions that you have. So if you have a lot of questions, definitely a 2-hour session. Use the booking code New You, all in caps. And that is valid until the 31st of January. So make sure to get your bookings in fast.
Okay, very good. I was looking.
You will find a bit more info written on there.
Yeah, there's a lot here, actually. I love this
There
website. Yeah, absolutely amazing. About psychic readings. I was looking for on your Facebook for some pictures of your aura drawings, because that is always fascinating to a lot of people. Oh, let me bring this one up here. Copy image, open image in a new tab. Okay, what are we looking in this one here, SOLRETA? I hadn't seen this one before. You remember?
Yes. That was a beautiful aura drawing I did where Kuan Yin. So she's sort of like a female version of Buddha. So she resonates to do with love and compassion. So sometimes I'll see ascended masters, I'll see guides. A lot of the time I see guides that are very unique to you though. So we actually, when I see the guides come up, if someone wants to look into guides, we'll draw them into the aura drawing. They're there to work with people's individual soul missions. So they'll be giving us advice, whether it's around activating psychic abilities, whether it's advice working with career, whether it's advice working with love, these kinds of things. So we get a name, a spiritual name for the guide that we're working with that you can use like a mantra to tune into their frequency, their energy. So we have to give guides permission to work with us on a spiritual paradigm. They don't just come in and force their will upon us. Those that are there for the best and highest good have courtesy, have respect. So yeah.
And this is an example here of what a lion being. What are we looking at?
Yes, and that would be a lion being. So we see lion and cat beings from Lyra, from Sirius. There's even those that come in from higher dimensional realms. There's those that have been on board craft, on board UFOs for so long that they no longer have a place that they call home. They're kind of more of like a galactic kind of confederate or commander type energies sometimes.
Wow.
So that they're here, I guess, to help more in a universal sense, not just in an earth sense or a planetary or star sense. So their alliance is more to the universe and protecting and upholding peace.
Well, there you go, folks. If you're interested in seeing who perhaps is in your auric field and perhaps how that relates to your soul mission here for 2022, give SOLRETA a try. There's a lot of testimonials on our site already of all of our past audience members.
I'm so blessed. You just, you guys are my soul tribe. And it's an honor for me to serve and connect. And I just love every single one of my clients and my readings. I feel blessed to get to live my passion and my purpose here.
Well,
And I
it's an
just,
honor for me to have you on the show. And of course, folks, if you want to
thank
hear
you.
more of Solreta, and she's putting more and more content here on her YouTube channel, you can find her at Solreta Anteria here on YouTube. And of course, her new website, solreta.com. And this was the 21st edition of the Simulated Reality with Solreta. We might change up the poster and theme for 2022. We have to talk about that. We're just like
Yeah.
getting
Hey, let's,
started again here. Go ahead.
and definitely we need to investigate gematria, because I know there was so much today,
We
but
didn't
that's
even get to talk
definitely,
about it. I know.
there's some exciting things coming up that I've been looking into. So yeah,
Right.
thank you so much, JC, and everyone. I just, yeah, love being here with you guys.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here tonight. If you're interested in more of these amazing topics, please click on that upcoming live stream. There's about 20 or 30 shows already booked in here, and we'll be putting more of Solreta shows here coming up also. So do remember to check those out from time to time and set your reminders for your favorite shows. And while you're there, please hit the subscribe button here. We're at almost 58,000 strong and growing. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I love you guys. Have a great evening, and join me in about 30 minutes for the Wacky Woo with Jason 4. And you never know, it's Friday night. It could get really, really wacky. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Take care, and I love you folks. Au revoir.
Love you guys. Bye. Thank you, JC.